special guest, Megha Tejpal, and she is Hot Pink Houston. And I love pink, and I thought I had one of the best jobs in the world. But this girl gets to eat and drink at all the best places and travel and write about it. And I'm actually a journalism major. So I aspire to be you, and now I'm on the contestant, but I get to interview you. Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. So we are also with, of course, my fabulous, dashing husband, and even Grace Kelly's here walking around with us, and we are living the authentic life. And we are coming to you every week, Thursdays, 10 o'clock. Last week we were in Vail. Next week we're going to be back in Vail. So we're excited to be home, but our store has been open by appointment. And of course, we could not come to you without the amazing Adam Andrus, who's in studio today. Shout out to Adam. Yay! I don't know, do we have that clapping noise thing that you can do? But every week we sit down with personalities who have taken this amazing journey in life to really be authentic. And when you look at her feed, you know she's authentic. You see so much of her personality in it and her darling smile. And it's also commitment and connection and collaboration that leads to all that. So we're going to dive in. Of course, everyone in the world wants to be able to do what they're passionate about. And you are passionate about food and drink. And you have done these amazing journeys with restaurants and bars and nightlife. And then you're a representative for the city of Houston. Downtown, you've done videos. I saw that amazing picture of you walking in front of the mural. Yeah. Like, how does one get to this place of the dream job?
Well, I think, sometimes I sometimes I stop and think, how did this happen? You know, because I feel like I'm just constantly just doing it, you know, and you have to just remember that it's all happening. So you have to appreciate it. But
exactly, appreciate the ride, because sometimes COVID happens and you're like,
I know.
Oh, this ride is hard.
I know, and I honestly miss eating out at restaurants like every day, because I know you still can right now, but it's different. It's all changed, right? It's not the same. So, but you know, honestly, the way that it's
sorry, Grace Kelly likes lotion.
She likes my lotion.
So she is definitely saying hello to Megha in a big way.
Hold on. I'm going to take care of this real quick.
I love her.
That costs extra.
So no, honestly, I think that the way that it has all happened for me is that I honestly love doing the stuff that I do. When someone asks me to do something, or if I want to participate in something, I actually enjoy it. I don't just take opportunities if there's something in it for me, or, you know, I actually love it. I want to participate in these things for the city that's been my home. You know.
Can you turn that off, Jeanette? I don't know what that is. Sorry. It's my alarm.
Oh,
the crazy things happen.
All the fun things.
Wait, how do I go back?
Of being live.
Exactly. Well, there we are. Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like, you know, Houston's been my home for almost 35 years. And
this is just going to be
comedy. It's always fun at the Vintage Contessa. Hilarious.
Make sure mine's off.
There we go. See, this shows you how real we are, guys.
So yeah, no, I think that you know, for me, I started just kind of posting things on Instagram about food. And, you know, I'm a lot older as far as like bloggers go. Well, you know, I joined Instagram way later than a lot of people joined it. And I thought, you know, why be on Instagram when there was already like Facebook and like Friendster and MySpace and all these things where people were just posting the same thing.
MySpace, you're showing your age.
I know. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But yes, I was on all of them. And everything was the same. It was like pictures of you and your friends and your pets. And I just thought I wanted to do something different. So when I joined Instagram, I felt like I was only going to post pictures of food. And this was years and years ago. Well, like 5 or 6 years ago. And so that's what I did. And honestly, I mean, at that time, I could not afford to eat at like Cafe Annie or, you know, like every day. But I wanted to post. So I would go outside and take a picture of the patio, you know, like a creeper. And I would go outside, the tasting room.
Yes.
And, I wasn't buying bottles of wine, but I would say, great patio weather for a bottle of your favorite, Cabernet. And I would just post every day, and I learned about hashtags. And so that's what I did. And I started my little food social media blog. And a lot of people weren't doing it. Like now, of course, this is like the Kardashian age where everybody is like an influencer.
What's your Instagram handle?
Yeah.
What's your blog name?
Yeah. So, you can like trade your, like a product for like a post, right? So everything is that way. But at that time, it wasn't like that. So I started doing this, and then people started noticing. So they were like, okay, well, why don't you come in and eat and, post a steak dinner for whatever. So I started doing that, and the followers started increasing because I was so passionate about it. And if I saw any kind of interest, I would just get even more excited. So I started really styling the posts and really getting into it. And I was literally getting nothing out of this except it was a hobby of mine,
You had a job at the time?
Oh, yeah, I had a full-time job. So this was just an outlet. Like, this was just something I enjoyed because I'd been in Houston my whole life, and people always used to ask me where to eat. And so I thought, well, if I have this, people could just refer to Instagram. They don't have to always ask me, like, where should we go out to eat? This was we'll go to my Instagram, and you can see all the places that.
Live again.
Yeah.
FedEx is here. Someone's sending me a check.
So what I love about it is with all the guests that we've been interviewing, the one thing I find with every successful person is consistency. And you said you post it every day.
Yeah.
That's that Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours. And also Angela Duckworth from Grit that talks about passion. Anytime you're passionate and it's really in your core and it's really what you're doing. His was coins, but then evolved to watches. Mine was fashion and handbags and travel.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you said you had another job while you were doing it. So that's the other thing that I feel like so many people get confused about. They go to college and they're like, okay, I'm going to graduate and be a food and travel blogger. And you're like, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't happen that way. And I used to be like that. I used to think, I want a cool job. Well, it's like, what is a cool job? Like, how do you get that? So you just kind of have to do something that you like, and you might not get paid. You probably won't get paid for it, or you won't just automatically get that way. But if you do something every day, and you work towards it, and you actually like doing it, and you do a good job, it will lead to something. And I'm talking about this was 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I'm now getting to something, doing all these things. These things have all, gotten to become this way because of the work that I put in years ago. But, because of COVID, things fall apart too. And, posting every day, the stuff that I'm saying now, I don't do it anymore because of all this stuff. Like, it'll get, because of everything that's happening, it'll go 2 weeks now where I won't post because there's nowhere to go out to eat. Or if I get takeout, it doesn't look as pretty at home, and I have to really style something at my house to make it look pretty for a post or something. And it's depressing, and I feel blah, and I don't want to do it. So I won't post for 2 weeks, and I think, oh my God, I'm not following my own, preaching that I used to do for people.
And I think that's so important for everyone here is that people say to me, oh, every time I see you, you're so excited. And I'm like, yeah, but I have to dig deep some days. It is not easy. It's not easy for anyone. And if you look online, I think that's the other thing that COVID's done is we've all been more able to express that it's hard and know that the journey's hard. And Rob, we've pivoted. Talk about the pivot. And
our business before, I would go to a show 2 or 3 times a month. We would travel around the world. I had a huge Hong Kong show where we would $1 million in business in a 10-day period. All that's been canceled. So we've had to relearn on how to make money, how to cut expenses, how to pivot, how to change a whole new world. We don't want more than 2 or 3 people coming in now. It's very difficult when someone's wearing rubber gloves to try on an engagement ring. The whole appeal of that is changing, but we're learning, we're adapting, and we just have to, know with the way the world's changing. Your posts about donuts, I watched all your donut posts. I'm a huge, I saw them. You even, shout out to River Oaks Donuts, my favorite.
That's our
donut place.
donuts.
Yeah.
But you had donuts with fried chicken between them.
Yes, I love those.
You had donuts with chocolate and caramel and other things on. I'm just like, you're going, oh my God. And how you're so skinny doesn't make sense to me, but that's all good.
Well, I do love donuts, but I don't run out and eat donuts every day. It's rare, but I do like donuts.
Okay, because I saw that and I just go, all right, she has this great job. She's figured out how to monetize it, and she can eat donuts. I mean,
I know.
I eat donuts once a month, maybe, and I don't let her know, because if I don't bring one home, and then we're trying to stay COVID fit, not COVID fat, or COVID thin, not COVID thick.
I know. It went from like the quarantine 15 to now it's the COVID 19. I'm like worried what's next. I know it's gotten bad. I mean, everyone has their their weight that they try to stick with, and I have mine too, and but I try to eat well. The stuff when I eat well, I don't post that. Like sometimes, because I think that no one wants to see that when I'm eating like kale salad or grilled chicken.
But I have found that people like I'm trying to do keto and intermittent fasting, and that's really worked for me. I think everyone's body's different.
Yeah.
But I've posted before that I use lettuce instead of chips when I'm at the eating Tex-Mex have a queso.
Okay.
So I think sometimes you might want to put that out there, because then people might think, oh, I had no idea I could go to this restaurant and find a way to eat healthy.
Yeah.
So it might be a transition. But I love that you're authentic to you. And I think that, that's what I was asking Sarah Adam Capez, our guest from last week. And she said that she looks at every single post. She has someone help her. What I found also to be this thread of successful people is that they're invested, their thoughts are completely portrayed. So it's not about dictating, just looking for what people want. You're also being true to you,
right? And
you're being true to what you want to put out there. And I think a lot of that I found interesting came from your childhood. You're an immigrant, lived with your aunt and uncle when you moved here. They were doctors. Tell us about that journey, because I think that's also incredible, because there's so many conversations about how are immigrants treated when they come to the U.S. And we interviewed Johnny Dang. He was an incredible immigrant. Tell us your story.
Well, yeah. So I came here in the 80s with my parents. I was born in India as well, and we lived with my uncle for a year, and I grew up in A-Leaf, and then the journey was definitely it had its steps. I mean, we grew up in A-Leaf. My parents had to go to school again here in America. My dad went to U of H and my mom went to HBU, and my sister and I, we saw them work really, really hard. So we both have a really strong work ethic, and we know that, everything that they've done for us. So I mean, we've seen that, everything that they've kind of put themselves through for where we are now. And they had us very young, so we all feel like we're friends now, like they're very young. At the same time, I feel like I've been in Houston for, like I said, 35 years, that even though I've been through all that, and I remember, my sister was born here. And even though I came here when I was very young, I still feel like, just like an American, I feel like, I've seen those struggles. I feel like just like Houstonian, an American.
I feel like Houston is so multicultural.
Yeah, it's so diverse.
Diverse. And like I was saying too, we had Rushi with LCA on our prior podcast. Talked so much about this. And I think I say this almost every episode. You can literally spend a day in our life and Rob's phone calls or with people from 30 different countries. In this building, there's people from India, there's people from, all over the world. India is known for having amazing diamond dealers. So much of the diamond business we do is with Indians. Right. In Houston, so it feels more inclusive. It doesn't feel like it's separated or delineated.
Right.
Or
I've never felt like that here in Houston. It just feels like, of course it's home, and it just feels comfortable, and I've never felt any other different way. Whereas maybe in different parts of the country, you sort of feel that way. Mm-hmm. You obviously see that stuff on the news or you hear about it. I've never had to deal with that, thankfully.
That's why when we had our march, 60,000 people in downtown Houston, we had very minimal problems. A couple people that were problems probably were not real Houstonians,
Right.
because we all get along, or at least we try to get along. Houston's known as the most diverse city in the nation, especially for its size.
Right. And that's why it's so much fun to write about food here and experience food here.
Because it's so, and the people, so I read one of the articles you wrote about.
We read lots of them because we were
but
looking
the
at
Upper
food all
Kirby
night.
restaurant called Veranda.
Right.
And tell us about that, because there's so many people that are authentically Indian cooking Indian food. Do you know the difference when it's Tell us about that.
Yeah. So people always ask me, where should I eat Indian food? Because,
they presume that's your expertise.
Well, yeah.
You're like, well, I'm kind of the donut girl.
Yeah, I know, right? No, so, of course, we've been eating Indian food in Houston since the 80s. My parents are always taking us to Indian food. And, of course, I love my mom's Indian food. I'm always, making Indian food. I can make one or two dishes, but I just really can't cook the best Indian food. I probably eat out too much.
He's a better chef than me.
Yeah.
I'm
she
Italian.
claims I cook.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I do. No, so honestly, I think some of the best places to eat are probably in Little India over off of Hillcroft and Harwin. Some of those restaurants are really good. But that restaurant Veranda over on Upper Kirby, it's newer. It only opened maybe just a year ago, and it's kind of like a fine dining, sort of chic, real trendy. And the owners had a restaurant out in Sugar Land, and they closed that one down, and they made this one. And it's just, they wanted cocktails, and they wanted it to be just a place where people could really kind of dress up and go out to eat and still have that really authentic dining experience. So they really do have a nice menu. The herbs that they bring, they grow in their own garden in Sugar Land, and it's a husband and wife that own it. So I really do. I do think that place is a really nice place for people who want experience. I also really like Kieran's, and I like Pondicherry. I think Pondicherry is excellent. I love Anita, who owns it. I think those three are solid choices. But if you want an India type of experience where you're getting a casual street eats type of dining experience, you go to Little India, and you can get vegetarian food, like South Indian. You can get North Indian. You can get anything you want really. There's Shiv Sagar, which is next door to Himalaya. Of course, everybody knows Himalaya. You hear about that. Anthony Bourdain ate there. But next door is a little place that my parents and I have been eating since the 80s, and it's called Shiv Sagar, and it's all vegetarian. Two people can eat for under $12, and it's just delicious.
You're speaking my language
now.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So the food is not only all vegetarian. Some of these restaurants also serve the chicken tikka masala.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of places that are non-vegetarian, but the one I was talking about particularly, Himalaya, is non-vegetarian, and you can get that chicken tikka.
Good naan bread.
Really good naan. Yeah, he even does that fried chicken, that Indian fried chicken. But I think Himalaya is Indo-Pak. Really good. So,
and then this guy's barbecue.
Oh, I saw. You're like the Killen's ambassador.
Yeah, Killen's. You have to go to Killen's.
I go there and I have to wait for 45 minutes in line, and I don't wait in line for anything.
Well, come with me.
I mean, and I see she's got one rib, and I'm looking, going, wait a second. She doesn't have to wait in line. Yes. Yeah. That place is fantastic.
Yeah, Killen's is good, and so he's opening a new barbecue restaurant in the Woodlands.
Okay.
So it'll be barbecue in Pearland and the Woodlands. So now that's super exciting. And then finally a restaurant in the Heights, so people don't have
to do the drive.
They don't have to. People in the city can eat, Killen's in the Heights. So that's super exciting. That's opening really soon. So he's doing a ton of stuff. So he keeps me busy. A lot of stuff.
Good.
And it's fun. Yeah, Killen's, everyone loves it.
I've never had a bad meal. Everything is fantastic. I took our daughter there a couple of months ago, and I said, we'll have one rib. And she goes, Daddy, I want some ribs too. I said, no, believe me, one rib's enough. We had a rib, and we had a little bit of brisket, and we left food. And I don't leave food. It's just not the way I was raised. She goes, I've never seen a rib so big, but the meat fell off the bone. And I'm not getting paid by Killen's. I'd like to, though. I'm telling you, it's about as good a barbecue. I get excited. They're fantastic, yes. at the Compte Monet. We can do some talking to you. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it is really good. It's fun because you get that like Insta fun, like the pictures are always good for Instagram, and the food's just really good too. So.
And the people waiting in line is multicultural. I mean, and we're all BSing and all laughing because we're all excited. Going, let's hope this line moves. I'm so hungry. And everybody's getting all antsy. And only wait outside down there when it's in springtime. Summertime, it gets a little warm. You got to stay by the side of the building when you get some shade and stuff. Yeah. See, I've been there. And the outdoor picnic tables, gotta like that too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so you've been on other podcasts. Tell us about this Downtown Alliance. So how does that even come about? How cool.
Yeah, the Downtown, it was like a commercial last year on TV. They contacted me. Well, I lived in downtown. I don't anymore, but I lived there for a few years. And they contacted me, and they knew I lived around, and I would always eat, and I would walk just places because I lived just right in the middle of this apartment complex called the Star. It was like one of those mid-rise buildings, and just kind of in the middle of everything. And one of my best friends, Greg Morago, he's the food editor for the Chronicle. So we would just walk places. We'd go to Sonny's, the bar, and we would go to Shake Shack for burgers, and down to Xochi for Mexican food, and in the Marriott Marquis. So, and I would post everything on my Instagram with Greg, and we'd always have fun. So they contacted me and they said, hey, we're looking for a host for like a dining host for one of our commercials. They had like a fashion host, they had a dining host, and a real estate kind of host for all these different commercials for downtown, kind of spotlight it for people to kind of see how cool it was to live in downtown. And they wanted me because they knew I actually lived there, so it would be authentic. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. So they shot this commercial, and it was 30 seconds for TV, and then like a longer interview style where I got to interview 3 chefs for online. So we went to Pente, which Danny Trace is a great friend, and we did at a restaurant, one by the park, Brasserie du Parc, the French restaurant.
Yes.
And then La Calle, which is the Mexico City inspired restaurant. And so
he's the guy with masks all on the wall.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, those luchador masks. Yeah. And so we did all those 3, and we had so much fun. And the commercial was on TV, and I loved it. And that was how that worked out.
And I love that you say that you are friends with the Chronicle writer, because I think that in so many other cities, things are cutthroat where you're not supporting each other.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you guys are competition. You're there, but you're not. You're also working together in the industry. And that's what people find kind of surprising about the jewelry industry, is that we're all buying and selling to each other too, and we're all friends. And we're
not all friends.
Not
there's
all
certain
of
groups
it.
that we like to
there
work
are groups
with
that you
that
like,
have your back.
and there's other people.
Yeah, well, I think Houston, I just feel like is different than other cities in all respects. And I think Houston's just not like that. I think we're also warm. I mean, we're warm, but again, people just like certain people, and you gravitate towards certain people that you like. You know?
Well, of course, because she has similar interests.
Right.
So you guys could be like, well, I'm going here. You might as well, we could go together because you have this way of looking at it. So the other thing that's changed so much with COVID is travel. Yeah. I saw that you went to Wisconsin and wrote about cherry pie.
Yeah.
He's from Chicago, so he spent his summers in Wisconsin on Lake Delavan. Yeah.
Wisconsin
so tell us
so lovely.
How to get to Wisconsin for cherry pie.
Well, so I was at City Book for 3 years. I was their like food editor of the magazine. And so, once you start writing for them, I did some Texas stories. And then once you start doing some travel stories, you'll get, approached to different destinations as far as, resort towns or things that they kind of want to talk about. So we got approached to write about Door County, which is this lovely destination in Wisconsin. I guess people summer there, and I think that was a fall story. Kind of like visit in the fall. And I think people don't think about that because it's so cold there. I think when I went, it was October, it was snowing. Like one of the days I was there, it was snowing.
But the leaves are changing, the big oak trees and all the lakes everywhere.
Yeah, so I went there for like a week, and it was so gorgeous. And so that was what that story was. It's like fall colors, like come visit in the fall, because people naturally go there for the summer because the weather is really good. But it was so beautiful there in the fall, and the food was so good because of like fish boils and course, the cherry pies and apple orchards, and that's where that story came from. Because here no one thinks of Wisconsin, and
You don't think of going on vacation to Wisconsin,
right? And
but now people are thinking about going
I want to take my
anywhere
family there.
that they can go on a road trip.
I know.
We're road tripping to Marfa. Have you been to Marfa?
I haven't, and I want to. How long is the drive?
Far.
536 miles approximately. So it's 8 hours if you're not trying too hard. My goal is to do it in 6 hours. We can average 90.
Oh my
I'm just
gosh!
kidding, 90. But it's beautiful. And when we get there, it should be fantastic.
So it's like a day. Like you could leave in the morning and get there by
Yeah, we're gonna go
leave
Saturday.
early morning,
Yeah, that's not
Saturday.
too bad.
And the best part is they have a Prada store there, but it's a fake Prada store.
So I
they
don't have
can't
to spend
money.
any money.
So to me, that's like she gets the thrill of the shopping, but she doesn't have to spend the money.
Yeah.
Not that I'm against anything she does, because I'm just gung ho, especially when we do a giveaway. We're probably going to do a giveaway too. I just love giving away free stuff every day.
Yeah.
It's just what I was put on this earth to do.
I think I just snorted that. That's so funny. So we will be doing a giveaway with you with this amazing Goyard keychain, key holder, and we actually have some belts that are accessories with that we can give you too.
Oh yeah.
But I also saw you were in Santorini, Greece, back in October.
I know, and I'm so glad I went because
Thank God, we just celebrated my dad's 80th in Italy,
In Sicily.
and I don't know when we'll ever
I
go
know.
again. So was that for work? Was that
No,
for fun?
that was just for fun. Yeah, that was just for fun. It was like a week and a half or 2 weeks with my parents, just us three, just for fun. Yeah.
You went to the Black Sand Beach. Did you the Lava Beach? And
Yes, and went to Santorini, Mykonos, and then Athens, of course, Delphi, and oh my God, and then what was that? I don't remember the name now, but where the those monasteries are up in the up in those
beautiful.
rocks.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they're rocks. They're big.
It's an island. Yeah, it's all rock.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the town now, but it was it was just the most beautiful. Greece is heavenly. I mean, it's just one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. I went to Italy, I think 2 years before that. I mean, I'm so glad I went to these places because honestly, I mean, I would just.
We don't know what we can do now about that. We're gonna all travel domestically. Looks like we're gonna all buy RVs.
I know.
And just eat takeaway food, but you need to make it pretty.
I know.
We haven't. I looked. I didn't see a lot of posts for food lately, and I'd love to find good takeout food because I did takeout barbecue last night, not to Killen's because it's a long drive somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
But we did order takeout from Tony's. We had Donna and Tony Valone on our prior podcast,
and that was fantastic.
It was as
Perfect.
I haven't had that
exceptional
yet.
as it was.
It was as good as the restaurant except for the ambiance. I mean, not that it was a bad ambiance.
But we
my
sat
wife.
outside in the backyard and we made a picnic, and I think that's what people have to do is they have to. You can't just give up and say this is miserable. You have to say we have to find new ways to be creative and create moments that are special, and we do that with food and wine.
Right. Yeah. No. So I will tell you, I'm gonna say the last few good takeout meals that I've had recently, and I've been trying to do my best. I just moved, so it's been hard for me to kind of get all this together with making beautiful posts.
What part of the city are you in now?
Now I'm in kind of like the edge of, or in between Montrose and River Oaks.
Okay.
So I thought I was close to here, but I was.
You're like, no, not so close.
Not so close.
Yes.
But I had a really good takeout meal from the Annie. They're doing amazing takeout meals for like kind of a whole thing, like where you get salad and like protein and sides and everything. That was really good.
And I love Sam there. I walked in a fashion show with him.
Oh yeah.
The last event we had in Houston, the Italian, Rod packed her one of the next day.
Yeah.
And he is super cool. He's darling, great hair.
Really good hair.
Shout out to Sam,
Yeah.
great hair. And the great food.
Yeah, no, that place was they did a really nice job. And they delivered too.
Amazing restaurant.
Yeah. Tonight I'm trying Traveler's Table. They're doing bento boxes. So you kind of get like everything just sort of all in one. And they're doing cocktails to go. So I think that's fun. And then Backstreet Cafe has been really good.
We had a great meal at Backstreet a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
Probably a month,
month ago. Fantastic, great deals on the wine. Not a
Yes.
shout out. I mean, I'm not getting paid by them again.
Yeah.
But their wines were very reasonable. Food was fantastic.
Right.
We had to make some jalapeno vodka drinks that we designed ourselves, and it knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
It was
no, I
great,
agree
great.
with the wine deals. Really good wine deals. Actually, I didn't even order wine. I just ordered food. And when I pulled up on the curbside, they had like a chalkboard thing with all their wine deals for that day. I was
Oh,
like,
smart.
yeah, and I added wine bottle, on. So, and it's
Really?
it's really close to where I live now. So I go
Okay.
to Back Street a lot. And Hugo's has been really good too.
Well, our favorite spot in town that we had my 50th birthday was Blue. And I saw that you featured their beignets, which is our
Yeah.
daughter's favorite
Those are good.
thing
That's her
to
appetizer.
order from there.
She doesn't have a salad first. She eats the beignets.
Oh my
And
god.
She'll have her friends sometimes have lunch or dinner with us there, and I'll look and I'll go, it says you ordered 2 orders of beignets. Well, yeah, Dad, I had one for dessert and one for as an appetizer. I said, oh, okay.
Oh my
That's
god. That's smart. Dessert first.
Exactly.
You never know.
Yes, but they have great appetizers too. So, do you have a bucket list of where you're going to go next when the world changes
Is it
and
a bucket
opens up
list?
again?
When
Yes.
the apocalypse is over. I mean, honestly, I just hope that, these people are my friends. These are people I've worked with for years and years. Everyone just makes it through this and comes back and they thrive, So that's what I care about more than anything else. I miss all the places that I,
The social interaction.
yeah, and I
What
miss
we
a lot
miss.
of dishes, of course. But I'm more like concerned. Like I feel sad. Like I actually am hurting through this.
I agree.
So yeah, I feel for them. I know this is what we read and what we see on TV is not even an ounce of what they are going through.
Yes.
The chefs
And you do
the-
give back to the community, have a relationship with food.
yes.
Tell
So
us about that.
yeah, so I again, this goes back to what we see and what we hear about and read is just not even an ounce of what is actually happening. So the food bank reached out to me. They wanted somebody who could kind of try to relay the help that they need. And so they wanted an Instagram host or like a social media host to sort of reach a younger audience or an audience that would maybe try to understand, like, hey, maybe we can volunteer or maybe we see what's actually going on behind these walls. Because the food bank is sort of, everyone sees like the red cans in the grocery store and people understand like, okay, we donate canned goods, but there's so much more that they do, and there's so much more that volunteers can do without, having to either open your wallet if you can't give money. So that's where I sort of came in. They wanted me to make videos where I'm in the actual facility and just show people like, hey, you can come in for 3 hours or more. You can be as young as 6 years old, 8 years old. You can, older, or you can do whatever. You can do these tasks and help out in this way. You can't donate money. And so that's kind of what they wanted us to show in these videos. Like, we need help. We are very shorthanded, and we need, people to help us, especially now, or especially during a time of need when there's maybe a flood. So that's kind of why, I was trying to help that way. I love getting on Instagram. I love making videos. I think nobody should be without food, obviously. So that's why I wanted to maybe reach a different sort of audience that maybe doesn't know anything about the food bank. They're not reading or in the charity of it. That's how I.
It's so beautiful. And it's amazing how you brought all this together. We can definitely see your authenticity and all of this and the way you connect with people and collaborate. We can't wrap up without last asking about your fashion sense because you are so stylish.
Oh my gosh.
And you look darling in all of your posts.
Thank you.
And you didn't choose a food name for your Instagram. You chose Hot Pink Houston.
Oh my gosh.
So you have pink nails. Like,
Yes.
How did you come up with such a darling name that most foods aren't pink? What's up with that?
It's the donuts are.
But see, we have our pink on today.
We were pink
for
for you,
you.
yes.
Thank you.
I think that might even. Oh yes,
Yeah, you
I've got my rainbow socks on
Yeah,
today. Yes,
so I like
we're all
those.
inclusive. We're all
I
inclusive
like
here.
those socks. No, well, my fashions, I'm so far and opposite from a fashion blogger. Like, I could never be. Sometimes when I see them, I get anxiety because I'm like, how do they do this every day and think about this? I'm so basic because I'm just not a food blogger. I would so much rather put that effort into food and like reading about food or styling food or just anything to do with food. Fashion is, I'm like a basic, like one dress.
I think you look incredible.
Thank you. But I'm in like a t-shirt and jeans or t-shirt and short or like, one piece or two piece. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to accessorize with stuff. I'm just like easy, super, super easy.
The pink?
Yeah, I like pink.
Is that your favorite color?
No. Okay, so I'll tell you where the name came from.
All right, because we're trying to get it out of you.
Yeah, no, the name came from years ago. There weren't a lot of available names, like when you're searching for names because I wanted to secure like a website and the Instagram name because I wanted to like work on a website that would match it. So that was hard. And so at the time I was thinking of like, 30something.com or like Houston something, something that would match things to do in Houston or whatever. Nothing like that was available. Then I thought, okay, something to do with girls doing things that are fun, because if girls are doing stuff, guys will follow.
It's pretty amazing how that works.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. And then
food and alcohol help also.
Yeah, right.
Just FYI.
Right.
And for us, it was altitude and alcohol.
Oh, that's cool. But see, there's no altitude in Houston.
No.
Right?
No.
So then I thought, and I didn't want to stick to just food and alcohol because I thought,
keep it open.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it open. So that's what I was thinking, just girls. Like if girls go places, guys will go. So I thought just the color like hot pink, and that'll make it like girl centric.
Well, you nailed it.
Yeah.
We love it.
And now the hot pink is just kind of like a fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's I know when we were rebranding.
Her toes are pink too.
Yeah,
Just
I
let
love
you
it.
know.
Yeah,
so cute. And I've got the pink in essence too. But when we were titling our podcast, it is such a process to come up with the title. And I think that for people that are listening that are thinking about starting their own business, it really needs to go back to that authenticity and to your journey and what to the core, not what's obvious. But for me, every person that ever walks in our store and has never heard of us or just happens to come by or even found us online and come in, they say, how do I know it's real? That's a question they ask. And that's a question we're all asking now with politics, with COVID, with relationships, dating, friendships. Mm-hmm. Our daughter's 13. She's diving into it with friendships. So that's how we came up with.
Not dating yet.
Yes. No, she is not
if you're
dating.
This fella, 13, you're not dating. Not an option.
But we came up with living the authentic life because it is, and it runs through just so many things. And we're so blessed to live in a town that is so authentic. We saw it with Harvey. We're seeing it with COVID. We saw it with the way we handled George Floyd. But thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with us. We're excited to do a giveaway with you
yes.
and a collaboration. And we're so
and maybe a giveaway from one of our restaurants can throw something in.
I know.
Food-wise too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an idea.
Well, I want to get back together. Roseanne came up with the idea of maybe during restaurant month we could collaborate.
For sure. That's a good idea.
Stay tuned for more exciting things. And until we meet again next Thursday, we'll be back in Vail and we'll be meeting with our girlfriend, Trisha Swenson. She writes with the Vail Daily, and she's interviewed the most amazing people from around the world that have come through Vail. And we're doing a pop-up shop at Luca Bruno for our last guest. And you can find us there. Yes.
Thank you for coming.
No, thank you for having me. This is so much fun. Awesome. You guys.
All right. Bye, Adam. Have a great one.